Welcome to Adventures in Gaming, everyone. Today, I would like to talk about online gaming, and specifically, online league racing. I run a racing league on the Xbox 360 in two different games, NASCAR 15 and Formula One 2014. First, we'll start off by talking about what is an online racing league. Well, most racing games have a career mode where you race through a particular season and it pits you against the artificial intelligence or AI drivers. In a online racing league, you do the same thing, but every aspect of the races are set up outside the game except for the actual races themselves. So what you have is you have an organizer or somebody who puts the league together, and they set up either a website and or a forum to start communication between the drivers and be able to express what you're going to do with your online racing league, such as setting up your seasons, setting up your schedules, the times you're going to race, the settings that you're going to be using in the game, rules that you are going to be following, and penalties for not following those rules. So next I'll talk about my likes and dislikes about online racing leagues. I'll start with the dislikes because I always like to end on a high note. Whenever somebody asks me, do you want the good news or the bad news first? I always say the bad news because that way you end up with the good news, and hopefully that will help cover up the bad news. So my dislikes about online racing leagues are the personalities. You end up getting with AI drivers when you race just in a game and not online. You don't get any feedback from the other drivers. You basically race against their tactics, and that's it. But with online racing leagues, you're dealing with real people that you're racing against, and so normally you're speaking with them during the race, calling your lines and stuff like that. So sometimes personalities can conflict, and that can be a dislike. One of the other things is league management. The manager has to do a lot of work setting up the league and controlling the process along the way. And so if you don't have somebody who is very organized and wants to set something up that is good, then you're going to have issues with your league, and then it's not going to be successful. So a disadvantage is if you are the manager, it does take a lot of work to make sure that it's done right. The drivers, essentially, they just show up to the race, so they don't have to do anything but show up, race, and then go check out the stats and see where they're at as far as the standings and stuff like that. So it is a lot of work as far as the management portion of it. And then the other big disadvantage or dislike that I have is the connection issues. Everybody's on the internet and everybody has different connection rates and quality of their service, and that can be a real issue with any online gaming. And with online racing, it seems to be exponential because you're dealing with cars or fake cars, however you want to put it. You're dealing with cars that are going around a track, and they could be inches to feet away from each other, and they have to be rendered and completely synced between everybody. Otherwise, you're going to have some real issues. So connection issues and figuring those out are a real disadvantage. So on to the likes of online racing leagues. It's something that I've been doing for 6 years plus, I think, going now, and the league that I'm running is coming up on their 6-year anniversary. So, but one of the likes is the social aspects and the camaraderie. When you're racing against AI, you don't get any feedback. When you're doing online racing leagues, you get to make new friends, and you build a camaraderie between drivers, and the social aspect of online racing leagues is a real plus. The other thing is competition. When you've got AI drivers, they can build artificial intelligence into the drivers, but you, as a person, can quickly learn the aspects of how that car drives, and with real people, it takes you much longer to figure out how that person is driving and what their tendencies are, and so it's the competition is much stiffer. The competition level is much higher. I guess maybe those are a combo item, but with real people, it seems to be much harder to race against than it is an artificial intelligence. And my final like is the heart-pounding excitement you get from online racing leagues. If you're about to win a race in a career mode race on a regular game against AI drivers, it's fun to win and all that. But when you're racing against real people, knowing that a singular mistake can cost you a win, when you get down to the last couple of laps or the last 5 laps or so of a league race, and you're in the lead, trust me, your heart starts pounding and you get super excited about this because, one, you don't want to screw it up, but two, you know you've accomplished something special. So the heart-pounding excitement is something that I really do like about online racing leagues. As I mentioned, you need to set up a website or a forum, and what you can see here is what I've set up. I've set up a forum that shows all the drivers, and the drivers can sign up for the league and create forum sections and topics that drivers can post information or get their information or just discuss races or do, whatever you want. There are different categories set up for each racing series. You've got a Formula One section, you've got a NASCAR section, and then you've got a general section. Under the general section there's discussion and news and league suggestions, forum suggestions. So it gives you the opportunity to let drivers communicate and express what they want in the league. But there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of organization that goes into this. You can see there I've got a sprint series for my NASCAR setup, and then the Formula One section right there for my Formula One 2014 game. And there's sections for discussion and stuff like that where people can just talk about anything related to Formula One or go check your stats. We've got a separate website that runs the standings, and here's the Formula One standings from when I recorded this. It'll give you wins, poles. You can dive into drivers and look at specific driver stats as far as where they started, where they finished for each race, what points they got. So there's a lot of information that you can gather out of a league that you can't normally necessarily easily get out of a series. We've also got a F1 constructor standings where teams get together and gather points themselves by team and try to win the Constructors' Championship, just like in regular real F1. And there's the standings for the McLaren team, and it will give their points for each race. And that's another thing about online leagues is the fact that you can be an individual driver, or you can set it up so that you have a team where you've got teammates that you race against, but are also racing for as a team, so you can practice together before the races and figure out your setups and what you want to do to make sure that you're at the top of your game. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this section or Adventures in Gaming video on online racing leagues. If you haven't checked out an online racing league, please do so. You can look at mine, which is the Veteran Racing League. I'll put the web address at the bottom of the info section here, and also at the end of the video. Have fun playing those games, and go Tigers!